So far, I've worked my way through Paladin and Druid, and now we're on Priest, and we're looking at the Tier 12 sets that come with Firelands. We're going to look at both how they look in general and are the tier bonuses actually any good. While I know Sims will answer this question for us eventually, I think you can have a look at a set bonus and know whether it's something you're going to want to use or not. So without messing around too much, let's get straight into Discipline and Holy first. I've said it in the Paladin and Druid video, but I'll say it again here in case you ain't seen either of those. The 2 set for every healer is pretty much the same all the world over. You're getting mana back in some way, shape or form. For Resto Druid, it was Life Bloom, and for Paladin, it was Holy Shock, and for you as a Priest, it's Flash Heal, Greater Heal, and Prayer of Mending. Now, these cause you to generate 2% of your base mana every 5 seconds for 15 seconds. Now, depending on your race, the base mana you're going to be restoring will be 400 to 420, around that sort of mark, every 5 seconds, for absolutely zero effort. Because if all you was to do was to press Prayer of Mending on cooldown, this is a permanent MP5 buff that's never ever gonna drop. It doesn't stack or anything like that, so you're not better off trying to refresh it with Flash Heal or Greater Heal. There's no cheesy things that you can do with this 2 set bonus. Instead, just play as you would ordinarily play, because as a Disc Priest, you're very likely using Prayer of Mending almost on cooldown anyway, and you're just always going to have this MP5. Pretty strong 2 set in my opinion. But the 4 set I absolutely love, because what I love is getting extra damage or extra healing for no effort, because I'm lazy. But the 4 set gives you a chance when you cast a helpful spell to summon a Cauterizing Flame at the target location, and each second the Cauterizing Flame will heal an injured party member within 40 yards for 10,000, and this lasts 5 seconds. 50,000 healing for no effort whatsoever. It just procs, jobs are good. Now, it is on a 45-second cooldown, and of course, it's got quite a low proc chance. It's around 5% or something like that, going by Wowhead tooltips. But the thing that's amazing with this in comparison to the other healer 4 sets we've looked at is Druid's Swift Mend that heals a second target. It's only a 15-yard range. Paladin's hard-casted heals heal for an additional 10%, which is not really a lot in the grand scheme of things. This has got a 40-yard range. It feels like it goes for miles. And it's quite clear who it's on because you can see little fire just sprouting out of them, but I've not actually noticed a buff or a debuff to really be able to track it, but I'm sure with a weak aura and looking in the combat log and then tracking the actual spell itself, you could see every time it goes up, obviously. But I can't see any visible way like on the frames looking at buffs or debuffs. But overall, just an amazing 2 set and 4 set for healers. And don't worry, Shadow Boys, your set bonuses are absolutely mental as well. Priests have done really well in Tier 12. Their set bonuses are pretty insane. But a 2 set, while you're in Shadow form, your Shadow Fiend deals 20% additional damage as fire damage, and its cooldown's reduced by 75 seconds. Now, the Shadow Fiend hits reasonably hard already, but doing another 20% as fire damage is amazing, but you're going to get more uses of it, because knocking over a minute off of that cooldown is pretty huge. It's not the most exciting thing, don't get me wrong, because you're still just going to use Shadow Fiend when it's off cooldown and try and get as many uses of it in one fight as you can. And with the speed we actually kill some bosses, you're still not always going to get more than one use out of it. But for fights like Ragnaros Heroic or even Ragnaros Normal, where it's going to last quite a while, you'll definitely get more than one use out of it. The 4 set I absolutely love because you might as well just say your Mind Blast is going to do 15% extra damage, which I think is what Blizzard should have just done, to be honest with you, because if you're playing your Shadow Priest right, all of these criteria should be met almost 100% of the time, which is while you have Shadow Word Pain, Devouring Plague, and Vampiric Touch on the same target, you gain Dark Flames, which increases the damage done by Mind Blast by 15%. You'll know you've got the buff up because this one actually shows as a physical buff that you've got Dark Flames. You could track this to make sure you've got it up all the time, but as long as you're tracking your dots and you're making sure you've got 100% uptime or as close to 100% uptime as possible on your dots, you're always going to have this buff. So it's not even something you really need to track because you should know all your dots are up, so your Mind Blast is just always going to do 15% more damage. On the basis, Mind Blast actually hits really, really hard in Cataclysm. If you're playing right, an extra 15% damage on top of that, obviously you're gonna want the 4 set. I would be very shocked if it comes out when the Sims are all up to date for Tier 12 and everything that Shadow Priest don't run 4 set, because I would take 15% extra damage on my hardest hitting ability on any class that I play. And that's the Priest Tier 12. Be sure to like and subscribe. Consider joining the channel as a member. Check out Rested XP in the pinned comment in the description below. It doesn't matter whether you play Cataclysm, Retail, or even looking forward to Mr. Pandaria. And you remember, you're getting content early, remember. There's something here for everyone, so definitely worth hitting that subscribe button. See you on the next one.